Hi, and welcome to the Tally and Lost podcast, where we discover spirituality together. And we are kicking off Aries season with Jeff. Hi, Jeff.
Hi, Laura. Hi, everyone. How are you doing?
All good, all good. So, Pisces season. It's been a few crazy weeks around the globe. So now we're going to Aries season, and I hope calmer energies are coming our way.
Oof.
Or is that wishful thinking?
Oof. I'm not sure about that, Laura, but let's unpack it step by step, all right? But you are absolutely correct by saying that these were absolutely crazy weeks in the world. What's happening is absolutely unimaginable. I think we are all either, helping somehow or definitely feeling, right? And of course, this is also something that some people are asking, can you see it with astrology, or how are we going through these energies with astrology? And just a few words about that is that it's interesting that this happened during the Pisces season, when we were talking about, such traits of this energy like kindness and compassion and unity. And indeed, sometimes the world has to go through some dark moments in order to really see the contrast with the light. And I think all of us could see how much unity there is in the world right now, how much unity is there between people who are willing to help, who are willing to support, who are willing to open the doors for the refugees, who are willing to donate time, money, energy, psychological support, any of these. So yes, the weeks were turbulent, and of course we will be watching what is going on and hoping and praying that this will stop. But at the same time, let's keep in mind two things. And one is that we're, as a society, collectively or around the globe, the whole humanity, we're going through a massive transformation in terms of our values. We see what we don't want anymore. We see what we don't want to accept, what we don't want to allow, we're really coming back to what is important, to what is essential, right? It's not about, greed anymore. It's not about ambitions and money and work 24 hours. It's more about peace. We really started coming back to gratitude. We really started coming back to what peace means for us, what peaceful sky ahead of our heads means for us in our lives. What does it mean to be kind and compassionate to other people who are suffering? So I think we can see it really from this perspective, how Pisces season has helped to maybe amplify these energies and bring them more into our consciousness. And then, of course, another part which I wanted to mention is that I hope that the energy of Pisces also gave hope, because every time we look back as a humanity, we can see there were so many things, right? There were wars and tsunamis and pandemics and whatever it was, we still went through it and we became better through it. So I just wanted to share a few words on the Pisces season, and also to kind of have a glide into the idea that the Pisces season, or Pisces, is the last sign of the zodiac, right? It's the 12th one. Yes. And so this is about completions. This is about endings. This is about closing certain karmic cycles, or cycles that we've been through. And we've been through a lot during the last 12 months, right? So for many of us, it's not only on the, let's say, collective level, but also I feel in personal lives of every one of us, and also working with the clients, and all, of course, seeing it in my own life as well. There were a lot of possibilities to change differently, to go differently, to act differently, to think differently, to basically not choose something in your life anymore, to say, okay, I'm done with it here, I'm done with it now. And so here is a good springboard from this Pisces season into the Aries, which starts on the March 20th, right? And this is basically the new year. It's a new astrological year, because the sign of Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. So we start another year, we start another cycle. And with this comes a lot of interesting elements, so to say. Well, first of all, we can say that the energy of Aries is the energy of fire. Okay, so answering your question, it will not be calm.
Oh.
It will not be calm. The fire cannot be calm. Okay.
Nope.
But it's also, it really depends on how we use this energy in our lives. And I think this is exactly why we are doing this podcast on the monthly basis, to explain what are the positive sides of every single energy, what are the shadow sides of every single energy, so that people could choose for themselves, so that people could be conscious about how these energies are working, right?
Right, yes.
So thank you so much, Laura, for initiating this podcast, and that we are sharing this information, and hopefully it helps to more people.
Oh, yes, I think so. We have so many clients from both sides of us that love these podcasts also for what they have to prepare themselves for.
Yeah.
You know, if they feel, oh, I am actually already going into the direction of X, Y, and Z, so I need to protect myself more. I need to take a step back, and it really helps them. And it's just really nice to hear that as well. Like the emails from listeners, it's very beautiful, and that's what we're doing it for, right? So, yeah, it's fantastic.
Thank you so much, and to all the listeners who are sending the feedback, this is very much appreciated. Thank you.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, we love it. We always share it with each other as well. So it's like, oh, look at this. We love it.
Well, it keeps us going as well, right?
Yeah, we definitely keep going.
Perfect. And now back to Aries. Aries, as we said, it is the energy of fire, right? And on one hand, it's really beneficial because we haven't had a lot of fire energy up in the sky since Sagittarius season.
Oh, wow, yeah.
And that is November, December, right? Then a lot of planets went into the air signs, earth signs, or water signs, and we lacked the fire energy in the sky. And probably you could feel as well that, for example, in February, things were super slow and sluggish, and we didn't have energy to start something or to go forward something, you know. Of course, it is a combination of different things. It's the, you know, psychological toll that we're taking from everything that is going on around us, but also when there is a lack of fire up there in the sky, it also means that we lack this boost, we lack this internal spark that says, go for it, start something new. You know, it was more allowing us to still sit with ourselves and to complete our internal processes. Okay, so there is always a logic up there in the sky why something is available, why something is not available. So when we needed to go through the closures and completion and, you know, more let's say pondering, then of course fire is not very helpful, because fire gets you going, fire gets you running around and doing something. But yeah, with the Aries season, this fire is finally coming back. It's coming back to us, and with the new beginnings energy is coming in, this new astrological year, the really possibility to go forward, you know, to go forward for something that we want, that we always wanted or wanted recently, now that we're changing so much, or we believe it's important for us right now. And yeah, basically going forward. Then of course there are some downsides of this energy, but let's dive right away into the healthy expression of Aries energy, and then we'll take a look into the shadow side, and so that will explain how to work with this energy better.
Okay, yes, let's go.
Cool. So the healthy expressions of Aries, as I mentioned, it is the spark of life. This is this, this fiery boost of energy which brings enthusiasm and spontaneity and willingness to go for something, right? Without thinking, pretty much, without thinking what other people will think about you, or maybe even not always thinking through the consequences, but actually having courage. The Aries word is courage. Have to be brave, to be courageous, to actually go for something, right? And that can, of course, be, let's say, expressed in different areas of life. But the energy, the healthy energy of Aries is the energy of leadership, of going somewhere where you haven't gone before, or maybe others haven't gone before, towards uncharted, territories. And lead others as well. Lead others, inspire others to go for something, to achieve something, to create something. This healthy energy of Aries, these people with a strong Aries energy, they know how to inspire others, really inspired, so that you literally, you feel the fiery spark in your bones, and you believe like, oh, actually, if they think I can, then probably I can.
Yeah, I see.
And we need that, right? We need,
Oh,
some of
yes.
us, we need the right leaders, the leaders with integrity, leaders who can inspire people to unite and to go for something.
Oh, yes, definitely. And do you think it's then also a good start, a good, hang on again. Do you also think it's a good energy to start new projects because you have
Absolutely.
the drive and the spark and like the let go type of mentality?
Absolutely, yes. Absolutely, with both hands, yes. Because again, this is up to every single person how to channel this energy. They will feel the spark, but then where do they channel it, right?
Yeah.
Right now, we have all planets direct, which is a forward motion. So it's not the time of not doing anything, it's the time of doing.
Doing.
It's the time of doing, it's the time of going forward. It's also, different people may choose how to channel this energy. And for example, some people may choose to become the leaders, right?
Yeah.
So we were talking about this leadership. And again, in very different areas, depending on what you do in your life, what you aspire for. Maybe you're a leader in the questions of climate change. Maybe you're a leader on a political arena. Maybe you're a leader of your own family, and you finally decide that, after the whole change that we went through, you want to do your leadership differently. You want to be a
Right.
different type of leader. Maybe
Yeah.
it's at work. Maybe you realize that after 2 years of pandemic and isolation and working, remotely, now that people are slowly coming back in the offices, maybe you realize that you want to do your leadership differently. Maybe
Right.
now you are more compassionate leader. Maybe now you are more inspirational leader. Or Aries is also ruling our connection to our physical body, appearance, how we are, how we look, right? So some people may channel this energy into sports,
Oh, yes.
running marathons or starting some kind of sports, well, not career so much, but sports routine maybe, or trying something new, or coming back to regular sports practice. Because again, since we were maybe closed or isolated, maybe some people were missing some kind of sports practice. For
Yes.
example, I love swimming, and during the COVID times, it all has been, either closed or restricted. And now that I'm coming back to my weekly swimming sessions, I just love it. And with the Aries season, it will come even more prominent. So we can
Oh,
channel our energy there, right? Or it's also about any creative projects, or entrepreneurship, for example. Or yeah, you just choose, because you will have energy, you will have drive,
Yeah.
and you will have the motivation to do it. How will you do it? This is really up to you.
Yeah.
Because the Aries is also, it's the archetype of a warrior. It gives you this inner power to go for what you want, to be brave, to be independent, to be fearless, to be free, to follow your instincts. Because Aries is also our sense of self. It's our
Right.
sense of self-identity. It's the I am.
Yes.
Who I am, or who am I, without anything else. Who am I if not my family, if not my work, if not my money, if not my health? Who am I underneath of it all, and what matters for me?
Right. It's also a big self-care energy. Sort of, yeah, from like who am I, like mentally, but also sports. It is a type of sort of self-care, isn't it? That I've personally failed in the last few months.
You can look at it this way, but Aries will not think about it this way.
Oh,
Right?
right.
So it really depends on how you look at it. Of
Yeah.
course, sports is a good thing. Of course, when we think about who am I is also a good thing. But since think about it, that Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. It is this divine spark when the soul just comes to incarnate for the first time. So you might imagine this untamed horse, pretty much, that is super enthusiastic to just launch around, to experience life, to try it all, not to be tamed by anything or anyone. It doesn't understand oneself good yet.
Yes. Right.
There is really hard to understand or have this objective understanding of oneself, but there is an internal drive to experience things and understand oneself through this experience.
Yeah. So there's a slightly different perspective of,
Yeah.
I see. Okay. And if you're talking about like the leadership and the archetype, you did mention the word compassion as well. So it is, even though of the joyful new experience energy that you described, it is still with compassion towards others. Is that right?
It depends. Well, of course, we don't live ever in the universe where there is only one type of energy, right? And this is good. This is really good, because
yes.
if there would be only one type of energy, we would then experience really, let's say, brutal parts of this energy, right? Because we shall start talking about the shadow sides of Aries, and believe me, we don't want pure shadow side of energy in our lives. And so the reason I mentioned compassion is because we luckily have a lot of Pisces energies in the sky right now, okay? And that will continue to amplify. So it started already back in February, and during March and April, it will amplify even more because we have Jupiter in Pisces. But we will be talking about it when we will talk about the moons. So yeah, compassion is a good thing right now that is helping all of us to basically float, stay afloat.
Stay afloat, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what are the unhealthy or the shadow sides of Aries then?
Oh yes, let's dive into that. So I was talking about the warrior archetype, right?
Yeah.
And so think about the wounded warrior archetype. Think about this wounded masculine energy that can turn or channel this divine spark and the boost of fiery energy in a negative way. For example, the very frequent manifestations would be anger, rage, impatience, violence, distraction, and war.
Right. So that's actually a quite sort of scary, unhealthy expressions, and especially what's going on in the world at the moment.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that is the wounded masculine energy, the energy that lack the feminine archetype, lack wisdom, lack compassion, lack understanding that not all things in this life can be fixed by going to work.
Oh, yes. It makes
Yep.
things worse. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. But also, of course, not every one of us will, engage in a war, but also on a domestic level, let's keep it in mind that during the Aries season, we might all lack patience. We might all lack being, a little bit calmer, a little bit more peaceful. So it's good to have it in mind. It's good to understand, I will have more fire in me. What will I do with this fire? How will I channel it? Will I channel it in the right way or not? Okay.
Right.
Then the Aries energy can also be called too fast, too soon.
Oh.
Okay.
Patience.
Exactly. When people just jump into something without thinking about consequences, without thinking what the impact will be on other people. And they're just like, bam, did it. And then, oh, actually, it's not very good for others, right? Because the energy of Aries, as we were talking, it's about me. It's not about others. The others is the Libra, which is the opposite sign of Aries. So it's always good to kind of keep in mind, all right, I might jump maybe into something too fast, too soon. If I have this in mind, how can I do it differently? How can I pause for a sec?
Okay. But does it also come with, from what I hear, like impatience and the wounded warrior? Is it also from a perspective of me, like the ego, the narcissism? Is that right? Yeah.
Absolutely, you're 100% right. This is me when a person is so much invested into me and lack an objective understanding of others and what's going on in the world and how this me orientation impacts other people. This is where we are seeing how this energy may play out in a very self-focused way, in a very subjective way, where there's certain blindness about how this person influences other people or how his or her actions influence other people, and downright into the narcissistic tendencies. It's all about me. I don't care about others.
And how do we protect ourselves from going into the unhealthy expressions, but more focus on the healthy expressions? What do you think is best to do?
This is a good question. Question on a million. Well, first of all is becoming conscious of these traits, right? I'm always saying in my sessions with clients that bringing things from the shadow into the light, meaning it maybe used to be unconscious and now it's conscious. Now that you know it, you cannot unknow it.
Yes.
Right, you can forget
So
about it, you can you can ignore it, you can decide not to take it into account. But if you are a thinking person, if you're a person who's working on yourself and you have noticed things in your life, you have noticed that you are impatient, that something that you're doing tend to influence others in a negative way, or you might notice some of those traits that we were just talking about. This is really about self-development. This is really about self-consciousness. This is really about healing. This is really understanding, okay, how much of this shadow Aries side do I have and what do I do with it, right? Because especially these things will impact the people who have those Aries energies and their relationships. This will be the first thing that will be their feedback loop, right? Because either these people will choose to be loners because it's hard for them to be in relationships. They want freedom and independence and, maybe sexual adventures and, experiences and so on. But if they want to be in relationships, which we as social beings, we want to be in relationships, at some point it will come anyway, they will have to learn how to listen to others, how to take others into account, how to compromise one's, either need for freedom or some narcissistic tendencies. So that's a lot of like self-work. And of course, people who are impatient and very quick to anger, they of course have to work with it. They have to go, deeper into it with different tools, either with a psychotherapy or, we are very individual and the tools are individual. But sports is always a good idea.
Okay. Yeah, just to get it out, to channel it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I
And
love
here, of
that.
course, my question is, what do you think would help from the crystals recommendations?
A lot. I think a lot of grounding stones again. Um, it looks like it's the energies are coming from like like with spark and wild enthusiasm as a healthy expression and starting things new. But then equally, the wounded warrior. To me, that sounds like, babes, you need to work on your root chakras. So go for things like a bloodstone. Even though bloodstone is also the stone of warriors, it used to be. It was used a lot in battle to protect the warrior.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's one of the they used to even put it around the spear, the point of the spears for protection, around their shields for protection. But equally, bloodstone is also connected to the heart chakra.
Hmm.
So it's also, for love and getting that compassion out as well. So I think that's the perfect stone for this season.
Amazing.
And also zebra agate. Zebra agate is black and white, zebra agate. So it's a yin yang. It's a very much a balanced stone. It brings your energies back in the channel. It also resonates with the root chakra, but also the solar plexus. And the solar plexus is the I am. This is me, my creativity. So yeah. And let's just do another one, I think. Yellow aventurine. Yellow aventurine is very connected to the solar plexus, but it's a happy stone. So I do think when you feel a bit like anger or a bit miserable or like the me, but I want to feel better, then use the yellow aventurine just to cheer you up a little bit and to get the joyful energies back. So I think that's my top three for this month.
So cool. I love the protection part and
Mhm.
the stone for the war. And you also mentioned the solar plexus. Absolutely. Channeling this energy into creativity is
Mm.
also a very, very good use
Yeah,
of the fire and of the spark.
I think so. Yeah, I think those will be my top three crystals for this month. I think all three of them fit properly. Um, yeah, and obviously we do have actually crystal sets that we made. Jeff did the astrology part for it, and I did the crystal part for it, and they are made for these type of energies, and not just your sun sign, but also just the overall energies. Could be your moon sign or your archetypes as well. So yeah, I think it's a good
Amazing.
set. I think it's a good
Perfect.
set.
Yes, all sets are good.
All sets are good. And what about
Perfect.
the moons? What is beautiful Luna going to do for us this month?
The moons, yes, of course, the moons will be in the signs of Aries and then in the sign of Libra. Yeah, before we go into the moons, I just wanted to quickly mention that on the 21st of March, we're going to have the spring equinox.
Yay! Whoop, whoop.
Yes, and
I love
it is
spring.
absolutely, and the equinox this day is a very potent with energies. I really recommend doing any of the rituals if you are into the rituals to use this energy to listen to the messages, intuition, to strengthen intuition, and to also if you can do any connection with the earth. Okay, and
Mm.
there is a midpoint between the winter and summer solstices, so we are moving along with the cosmic cycles.
Yes, but it's very close together because it's the day after the Aries season starts.
Yeah, absolutely. So there will
Yeah.
be a lot of energy. And
Yes.
so then the first new moon of the
Mhm.
new astrological year will have on the April 1st, the Fool's Day,
Oh.
in 11 degrees 30 minutes of Aries. Okay, so if you know your chart, take a look where it falls in your house, in which house, and whether you have any planets or points in April in Aries, then you will see how it impacts you as well. And so this moon is very interesting because there are a lot of stelliums. Stelliums is when many planets are kind of gathering in
Mhm.
one sign, right? So there are parties, so to say. So we have the stellium in Aquarius with the Mars, Venus, and Saturn.
Oh.
We have Jupiter and Neptune coming closer together well, Jupiter is moving, Neptune is not so much, very slowly. They're getting closer to an exact conjunction on April 13. And then we have a stellium Aries with a Mercury, Sun, Moon, and Chiron. So you
Wow.
can see already a lot of energy in air, in water, and in fire.
Mhm.
And then we also have the Uranus and North Node in Taurus. So it basically brings pretty good balance of all four energies, okay, to work with. And of course, as I mentioned, a lot of fire, and we lack that fire in the sky. So now we will feel this cosmic boost. We will feel this boost in our blood, in our, energy systems. We will want to go for something, either to help or to lead or to create something or to be courageous or to run, whatever you do with this energy, right?
Mhm.
And then also looking at different aspects there, which are not many, but a few, I can see that the themes of community, what is good for community, how are we going to build the future, what do we want for the future, how are we doing it from the equal perspective, that will still be in the forefront, right? Because we are, as I mentioned, we're going through a transformation where the values are changing, and we're unfortunately some of the very negative events are showing us a different way. It is
Right.
showing us what we don't want
Want.
anymore. It is showing it's giving us a motivation to build the world which we believe is better,
Mhm.
kinder, more like fairer, and so on, right? So this Pisces energy is helping exactly with that. It helps us to dissolve any victimhood consciousness, any helplessness consciousness. It gives us the opportunity to imagine. Remember
Oh,
this song of John
yes.
Lennon, Imagine.
Imagine.
That's exactly it. We're imagining the new world. We're imagining how we want to live together. We are imagining how we can be more united. Okay.
Wow.
And so this fiery energy brings this courage to do it. First, we will imagining and thinking about it, what we want, what we don't want, what we could do. Now it will be the time to do. With the
Right.
courage, with the fire, with the dependent, with the boost, going forward. And we're going towards peace, because North Node in Taurus is peace. It
Peace.
is peaceful sign. It doesn't want war. It doesn't want negativity. It doesn't want drama. It wants peace. It wants embodiment. It wants simple pleasures. It wants simple life. It wants connection with nature. Of course, we need to change some things, but it is these will be changes which are slow but sure, so
Sure.
to say. Yeah,
Right.
it's slow and steady wins the race.
Oh, we definitely need that energy in the world right now. Full moon. When will that be? And what is she going to do for us?
Yay. That will happen on the April 16
Mhm.
in the 27 degrees of Libra. So the
Oh,
opposite sign from the Aries,
yeah.
right? And as we were just talking, where Aries is all about me,
Hmm.
Libra is all about others.
Others.
It rules our relationships in our lives, but relationships, one-to-one relationships, not always romantic ones. It's you and your mother, you and your friend, you and your colleague. So it's the concept of relationships. How do we do relationships? Are we building them from the equality perspective? Are we equal in our relationships?
Mm-hmm.
Is the balance between giving and receiving correct,
Hmm.
right, or not? Right? The Libra also rules collaboration with different people. It also rules open enemies.
Oh,
Okay. So it's either good relationships or not very,
not so.
positive.
Oh dear.
Yes. But then this full moon, full moons are always an illumination. The
Mm.
full moon always brings something to our consciousness. And so I would believe, looking at the chart of this full moon, is that it will be a checkpoint for all of us of how do we relate to each other now,
No. Oh.
right? Because we are changing, the world is changing. So of course, it's time to also drop some of the maybe tendencies we had in the past in our relationships. For some people, it may be overusing power, overusing authority, pushing others to get some results that people wanted, or, you know, having these narcissistic tendencies and only thinking about themselves. Or on the kind of weaker side of it, maybe giving too much and pouring too much of yourself into relationships, putting other people on the pedestal, forgetting about yourself, not knowing what boundaries are. So, you know, more this victimhood, sacrificial position. So
Yes.
this full moon in Libra, it will bring out those things, and that it
Mm.
will ask, okay, the world has changed, you have changed. Now, how will you relate to others now?
Right.
And all, what are the consequences of my actions if I
Yeah.
have, you know, if I've changed and I want to do, you know, I want to build the new world, and I will do it with a brave heart, and da, 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 da. How will my actions affect other people around me? Okay,
Mhm.
because this moon will have the aspect to Pluto, or read the other way around, the Pluto in Capricorn squaring the sun
Mhm.
and the moon. Okay,
Mhm.
and we're still coming back to the same question of power. Okay, so
Right.
Pluto is about power, and Capricorn is about authority. It's about these rigid structures of oppression, suppression. And so the question is, do we take responsibility for how we show up in relationships and how we use our power in relationships? It's, you know, sometimes it's really is down to the radical honesty to
Yeah.
see, do I simply pressure people around me towards what I want?
Mm.
Do I use my authority? Do I try to, you know, literally use suppression or oppressor kind of methods, or not? Or
Mm.
can I step into my inner power with more integrity, with more maturity, with understanding that I will not always get my way?
Mm.
So all those questions will come to the forefront again, individually and collectively. It's not always about, you know, what's happening in the world. It's
Yes.
really important to see what's happening in my own apartment, in my own life,
Mm.
in my own family.
Yeah, because it needs to start somewhere. It always starts with
Absolutely.
yourself because you can't expect other people to do everything for you, right?
Totally, totally, totally. And we have, during this time, what is happening as well is we will have even more energy in Pisces, a lot of Pisces. We will have Venus and Mars and Jupiter and Neptune all in Pisces, and Jupiter and Neptune conjunct in Pisces. So that's a lot of this dreamy energy. That's a lot of this energy of kindness and compassion and unity, but at the same time, also the energy of fantasy, illusion, what's real, what's not.
Ah.
Maybe, you know, deception a little bit as well. It's also a good checkpoint of understanding, do I live in the reality or an illusion, right?
Right.
Some people live in the fantasy world and might destroy, you know, a few countries around.
Yeah, why not? But also then like Venus and Mars, like female and male energy. But if they're in the same sign, is that a unity or is it a push and pull type of energy?
This is a good question. I like it, how you are becoming more astrologically versed,
Mhm.
Laura.
I am learning.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Well, the Venus and Mars, these two cosmic lovers, as you said, the archetypes of the feminine and masculine principle, luckily, they have already started this cosmic dance back in February when they met first in Capricorn, and then they moved almost together in Aquarius. So this were the time when they were conjunct, and that started an interesting process. It first of all, it brought, I think, many of us to the point of alignment, internal alignment between our feminine and masculine energies.
Mm.
So it really was the idea of strengthening, especially our feminine principle, because I believe we live in a very patriarchal society, and our feminine energies are very oppressed, suppressed, wounded, and so on, regardless of the gender. right? Regardless of the gender. And so we really, with the recent Venus retrograde, meeting with Pluto 3 times, it was really a transformational process of understanding where we give our power away, where we are not valuing ourselves, and so on. So our feminine part of us has been strengthened in the last month. And so when Venus and Mars, when they are in Pisces, they are not conjunct anymore, okay, but they are still in the same sign. And so I believe that it is still great to have this internal alignment. And they just, in this case, they're contributing into the Pisces energy. So in their own way, with their own spice, so to say, right? So Venus in Pisces is much more compassionate, much more kind, much more willing to help, much more willing to love, much more willing to be creative, much more willing to create this connection with the spirituality and the source and the, you know, divine, and have faith that things will become better at someday. And then Mars in Pisces, of course, Mars is not doing very well in the water sign, unless he's swimming. But it's also good in order to tone down this masculine energy. Which we will need, especially during the Aries season, right? So when we will have this boost of fire, at least we know, at least it gives us some calm mind and peace of mind, knowing that at least Mars, the planet of war, will be in Pisces, which will tone it down, which is, it's really hard for Mars to move in the water. It's like, you know, running in the water. I think if you tried that, you know, it's not very fast.
Yeah. So that's actually good timing for what's happening now, that energy is toned down, because can you believe it, that if Mars were to be in a fire sign, that would be like a cosmic nuclear bomb going off then.
Absolutely. And I believe that there is no wrong positions, planetary position. The universe is much more creative. The cosmic intelligence is so much more intelligent than we are. That everything is going as it should.
It should.
The question is how we as people, individuals, and humanity are reacting to those energies.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Wow, it's so beautiful if you think about it, right?
Absolutely. There is the cosmic harmony. And so that's the new moon and the full moon. Now we know what's coming. The themes of fire, boost, new energies, new beginnings will be there. The themes of how did I change and what do I want to create in the world, versus how did my internal changes influence the way I relate to others now.
Yes. Yeah, if I interpret it, I would say I would channel my energies towards new ideas that I've got. There's many of them, and some of them I've been lacking to really push through it. So I started them and not finished them. So for me, this would be a great time to finish them. And if I get frustrated, I need to go back into my running, because I've been lacking my running and my exercise routines the last few months. So, and that's where I put then my internal frustration in rather than onto other people. So I'll go running and I'm like, oh, I need to get this energy out. I will go for a run or a swim or whatever. And then the positive energies and days, I'm going to be creative and finally finish my creative projects that they've been on the shelf for a few months now.
Perfect. See, you already have your plan. Like you have your ducks in a row.
Yes, exactly. So that's how I feel, and I'm ready for it.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, I think I will channel this energy into my new project, which is called the Astro Tea. Oh, and this is my monthly sessions for my community where I just talk about astrology from different perspectives, there are different topics and themes. I've launched it back in February. It was really the beginning, let's say, test. That's why it wasn't, announced everywhere, just for my community. So if you're interested, you can go to my website, www.evolutionwithjev.com, And at the bottom of the website, you can sign up for my newsletter. And this
Mhm.
is where I announce those monthly Astro Tea Sessions. These are really the cozy evenings where we, come together with our favorite tea. I love tea. And we just talk about astrology. For example, back in February, I was talking about the moon and its the magic and its spices and the ingredients, and how it changes and flows through the signs, because
Mm.
every 2.5 days the moon changes its signs, so our moods are changing as well, and it's almost like waves, and how you can benefit from those waves. So
Mm.
yeah, this will be happening every month now. So I will channel my boost and fire into these creative sessions.
And oh, that's so beautiful. And do you do it on a specific days, like when it's full moon, or is it depending on how the energies are? So it could be one month, it could be on the first of the month, and the other month is on the 16th of the month.
It depends on my own, let's say, commitments and availabilities as well. But
Yes.
typically, it is taking place on the waxing moon, so in the first half of the month,
Ah.
somewhere maybe towards the full moon, around full moon.
Mhm.
But yeah, let's see how it goes. I just started with it. Let's see how we continue. So far, I had really good positive feedback, and so if you want to join, you are absolutely welcome.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Feel free to, yeah, sign up for Jeff's newsletter. Definitely. We can do it because you can learn, as you can hear, Jeff has so much knowledge, and she's very open of sharing her knowledge and the love and how you can prepare for all the energies. And regarding the Italian Lost podcast, like and subscribe and share wherever you like. We're on all social media, on all big podcast outlets, Spotify, Apple Podcast, even YouTube and Pinterest, you name it. We are there. And Jeff, thank you so, so much as well. Your descriptions and your website is all in. Your website is also in the descriptions. I have to say that that's the right way to say it. And I guess I'll see you next month then.
You are seeing me next month, or hearing me next month.
Uh-huh.
And we'll be talking about the energies of Taurus, which I really, really appreciate.
Oh, Taurus, peace.
Yes.
We need some of that. All right. Thank you so much. And I will